Hey everyone, today is Tuesday the 14th of May 2019. This is the Gap episode 467. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here. How's your John Wick week going, Joab?
Pretty fucking wickety awesome. Yeah.
We got it early for once. Or we got it on time, I guess. It's the way to put it this time.
How do you mean on to? Oh, like, we got it early. Like, it's not out anywhere else yet.
No, but we're getting it the same time as
True. Yes.
Everybody.
I didn't
else,
have to go to a fucking
different country.
Yeah. Didn't have to tack on an extra day at the end of a fucking trip, a work trip to go watch John Wick 3 months before it would actually come out in Australia, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like as weeks go, as times for it go. Because holy fuck, I wouldn't want to wait an extra 3 months for this. It's fucking amazing. That movie's fucking spectacular. I reckon it's the best of the trilogy. And it's not.
It's pretty good.
Not a trilogy either, I suppose anymore. But
yeah, I mean they're doing like spin-off shows and like more movies and like spin-off movies and like it's sort of become its own universe.
I'm about it. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, for me, it is basically... So we watched, dear listener, we watched all 3 John Wick films yesterday, back to back to back to back, or just 3 backs. And, yeah. I am honestly shocked that it took this long for this sort of thing to come out. It is... Like, it is, he's a fucking video game protagonist in a film. Like, not in a hardcore Henry sort of way where it's, like, super upfront about the video game connection type thing or, you know, Doom or whatever the fuck. This is, like, it's got a sort of video game logic to it, and... it melds it with fucking kung fu, a kung fu movie, and it's brilliant, right? Like, but like everyone's seen John Wick and John Wick 2, I assume, and if you haven't, go and watch them.
Yeah, I mean, there were people there last night that we were talking to, like the Skill Up guys, who. I think Ralph said that he only just watched it within like the last week, and he was like, I don't know why anyone didn't tell me to watch this sooner.
Insane. Like, ridiculous. If you haven't watched it, seriously, go watch it. It's Keanu Reeves is, you know, someone kills his dog, and it turns out
and then
that...
it's 3 movies later.
Yeah. It's 3 movies of him murdering literally everyone. Nate was talking to me yesterday about that he's got this theory, this like operating theory. I don't think it's a spoiler to say it, but the reason he goes from vaguely suicidal, which is, you know, what he is at the start of John Wick 1, to like hanging on for life at all costs is because he really, really likes killing people. Like killing other people gives him life, to the extent that he absolutely like just can't let it go. He can't stop now. He's just like, he gotta kill more people. There's more people that are yet to die, and so he's about it. He's going for it. My theory is that he is like he's competitive and he doesn't want anyone to beat him. That's why he can't ever let anyone else kill him, is because that would mean they would win, and he's such a potent competitor that he can't let that shit go, and he keeps fighting at all costs. But like there's a surprising amount of depth to this universe that is ultimately like what should be a flimsy pretext for Keanu to perform Gun Carter from Equilibrium, but on a fucking like longer scale. Like, yeah, there's a surprising amount of depth to this. Like, The dialogue, I thought the dialogue in 3 was as bad as it ever was in 2 and 1.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to make Ruby Rose's character from the second film like, all right, yeah, she's she's fine.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the characters in this film.
Yeah.
And Ruby Rose doesn't talk in the second film.
That's true.
So that's like, all right, fair enough.
Wait, who didn't you like in the third film?
The well, what was her name in it? The chick that's in it. She's I can't remember the name of her
Halle
character.
Berry.
No, the other one.
Angelica Houston.
No, the
adjudicator.
The adjudicator.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, just shut up. Like, all your dialogue is terrible.
No, but like that's not like. Yeah, that is like really pretty much par for the course for the entire fucking film. Like it is comic book writing or video game writing, right? Like not comic book writing. That's unfair to comic books. It's video game writing, right? Like it's bad dialogue that is literally just there as a fucking shoestring to tie together the next 15-minute long fucking murder spree, right?
But
like,
that's what I liked about the first film, is that the dialogue is short and simple and it's witty. Like the when the cop turns up at John Wick's house, the first one, like the first half an hour, and they have a discussion, and you get all of that information out of the way, and it's like 3 lines.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying
you understand like, this world that is in.
That's the problem. That's the problem that they have, right? Is that they want to grow, they want to build this world out, right? But to do that, and they want to have a fucking excuse for a third film, right? But to do that, they have to have more than just, are you working again? No, just, what is it? Just taking care of some things. Right? Like, it's got to be more than that. You get a lot from those 2 lines, right? You get a lot. You get a pretty good understanding. FYI, we are going to spoil John Wick 1 and 2, but we won't spoil anything in 3, except for, I suppose, actresses in it, seeing how I've already done that.
You did.
I did. Yeah, that's true. So... Yeah, like that you get a lot out of it, right? That he's known to the police in that area, that they understand that he is someone not to be fucked with, that he holds his own court, and based on the fact that the cop is looking at a dead body in the hallway and sort of just not doing anything about it, that like ultimately John Wick is a presence of law unto himself in that area, right? You get a lot out of those 2 lines, but you needed to go further. You needed, like, he returns in John Wick 2. I think you needed him to be there to ground you back into that area. It's, again, not a lot of dialogue, but if you take it into the context of all the dialogue that it's had with the Italian dude in 2, right? Then it's built out quite a lot. And the dialogue with the Italian dude wasn't very good. It's all very, like...
Yeah.
It is, like, this super goofy fucking... Like, the world of it is pretty cheesy as fuck, right? But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, because it's literally just there as a cheese string. Like, string cheese fucking link between literally 15-minute sequences of non-stop murder. Non-stop, high-quality kung fu murder. Like, it's out of control. John Wick 3, I did not think... I thought John Wick 2 sort of didn't go as ham as John Wick 1, in my opinion, right? Like, it goes ham, right? So I put a tier list up on Twitter of my favorite, like, numbering of the films, and I went 3, 1, 2, and our old mate Yug pinged me to say that there is no bad John Wick film. It's just
there isn't, no.
But that's absolutely not what I was saying. I wasn't saying that this is from best to worst. I said this is from best to least best, because it's still the fucking best, right? Like, they're still amazing, right? But I just thought 2 didn't quite go as, like, it had a lot more string cheese than it did than the others did. I thought, in terms of in ratio of string cheese to non-stop murder sequences. I thought 2 has the most string cheese. 3 has a fair chunk, but the fucking murder sequences are out of fucking control. They're some of the best I've ever fucking seen. I'm gonna go watch. Halle Berry has like her own fucking Taken movie, and I'm 1000% going to watch it. I wasn't going to watch it. I saw it came out. I'm like, no, probably not going to watch that. I watched that Jennifer Garner one, and it was fine, but I wasn't like blown away by it. And I'm a little bit burned out by the Taken concept. But if she's as good as she was in fucking John Wick 3, that movie's going to be fucking awesome. I've got high hopes now. Like John Wick 3's set very high hopes. Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like some of the shit in that movie, straight up out of control. Like just the insanest shit I've ever seen on film.
Yeah, I mean, there's the story of the first. You hear in the first and the second one how like, they're talking about how scary. Like this is the guy you sent to go kill the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And like he once killed 3 guys with a pencil.
Yeah.
Type stuff. And then in this film, they're like, what can we take? What object can we take that is dumber than a fucking pencil and have him like kill people with it?
Yeah.
And they do it and they pull it off. Like there were people clapping.
Yeah.
During our session.
Yeah. And it had some good lines too. It had one particularly fantastic line. Because they play into this idea that everyone knows, like everyone is in on the joke, I guess, right? Like in on their own self-referential humor sort of concepts, right? Like they know that it's slightly goofy and like, yeah, the dialogue's not always the best. And so they use that as an opportunity to really ham it up occasionally. Like fucking Morpheus. Holy fuck. How good is he in that movie? He's Lawrence Fishburne is fucking spectacular in John Wick 3. He was pretty good in 2, I thought. Like he was pretty fucking good. But fuck, he chews the fucking scenery in 3. It's spectacular. He is everything on screen. And he is on screen at the same time as your favorite person, the adjudicator. And she might as well not even be there. Right? Like nobody else should be there in that scene. I think Raffi, Jason Mantzoukas, plays a bit role in John Wick 3. I wish he got more opportunity. I feel like he would really shine as like Adrian Pimento type character in John Wick, the John Wick universe. I feel like that could go pretty well. But fuck. John Wick 3, spectacular. John Wick 2, spectacular. John Wick 1, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, I put that on Twitter. Like, it's not often you get a series of films that are all fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get the ones where it's like the first one's really good and then it kind of goes downhill and there's some crap.
Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3.
And then they finished making them from there.
There were no other Die Hards. Aliens, and that's it. That's like, you cut it off. I guess, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Terminator.
No, they made like
Terminator, thumbs up. Terminator 2, thumbs up. Terminator 3, don't worry about it. Yeah, there's a bit of a trend.
Yeah.
Obviously, Alien is the best of the Alien films. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Aliens. Different types of films, I feel like.
And Alien's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a fan of John Wick 1 and 2, you'll love 3.
Oh, yeah.
Go see it. I feel like it's gonna, like, that cinema we were in was packed and it was a preview session.
Yeah.
It was chockers.
It was super rammed.
So I think it's gonna make a bit of money.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good, because I'm definitely keen to see what they do with this, what else they do with these films and universes and games. Because that's why we were there, Joab.
That is why
Good Shepherd took us along.
The video game thing, I didn't get to finish what I was talking about with the video game thing. Because they escalate they escalate the threat. They do it like they escalate the threat in a very video game fashion. Like in a fashion that's replicated in the other game, in the main game we're going to talk about today. Rage 2, right? Like it is shocking to me how video gamey John Wick is at its essence, you know. But yes, speaking of video games, yeah, we went on Good Shepherd, who are making John Wick Hex. They got us in to go see the film early, John Wick 3 early. We were talking about this last week, obviously, a little bit, but I've been surprised at the reactions, and I'm still surprised. It feels like people still aren't fucking getting what it takes to make what it would take to make a John Wick film. John Wick game. Because if it was super fucking easy, then it would 100% already exist. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if the concept of very easily making you feel like a gun-wielding kung fu master was simple, then, yeah, we'd already be playing it almost exclusively, because that is the essence of the power fantasy in most cases. But, like, obviously, it's far more difficult than you would think, and that's why I think the strategy, the tactics, like avenue of attack is obviously the best fucking route to take. But now I feel like I sound like some sort of a shill for big indie publisher Good Shepherd, just because they took me to go see my favorite film of the year. But no, like I said last week, like, it's being made by Mike Bithell. Like there's literally nothing in the concept of John Wick Hex that makes me think it's not going to work.
I mean, we don't know how it's going to play.
No,
we've seen snippets. They could do cool things like it's a turn-based game, but at the end of all your moves, like, hey, here's what actually happened in real time, or something like that. Have like a 5-second clip where it's just him destroying people.
I think they have to. I think they have to do that, right? Like, in my opinion, that's how it has to play out. You have to be able to see that replay, because, like, personally, I would be trying to clip it together in Premiere myself if it didn't, right? I would want to see that sick fucking sequence of events play out in the smallest time frame without me planning shit in detail. If they could do it for me, that'd be perfect, right? Like, like I feel like they 100% have to do that, just because I think that's how they deliver on the John Wick promise, is the final sequence. You know, if we take John Wick to be this gun fu ballet, this tightly choreographed martial arts film with guns, and it essentially is, then allowing you to do the tight choreography is like perfect gameplay, but you also you need to see the ballet play out as well afterwards. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good ideal.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, John Wick 3,
go see it. Holy fuck.
Go see it.
Yeah. Like,
it's out this week. Or it'll be out by the time I guess this podcast is up.
I suppose.
Australia, US, I think globally it's releasing at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is good. Speaking of films, 2 films I saw on the weekend, just to tie things up a bit. One of them is video game related. I went and saw Avengers Endgame in IMAX.
Oh, yeah.
The films, both of them, Endgame and Infinity War, were filmed in IMAX cameras. So
right.
I went and saw Infinity War in IMAX, and they finally started showing it here in Australia in IMAX without the 3D, which is good.
Fuck.
And it's excellent. Go see, if you haven't seen it yet and you're trying to figure out like a way to go see Endgame, if you can, check it out in IMAX, because it's very pretty. Looks outstanding. But yeah, after we finished that, then we walked out of the cinema, got some lunch, and then went back in spontaneously to go watch Detective Pikachu.
Right.
which is obviously it's a Pokemon spin-off, I guess, video games, where this sort of series started. Starring Ryan Reynolds as a talking Pikachu.
Yep.
I didn't watch any of the trailers.
No.
But
I did. The only trailer I watched is the one where they redub all of Pikachu's scenes with lines from Frank from It's Always Sunny, like Danny DeVito's character in It's Always Sunny.
Right.
Go look that up if you haven't seen it, because it's the best thing you've ever fucking seen. It's spectacular. Right. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, yeah. I want you to punch D in the mouth. It's just, I wish we got that version. I hope someone recuts the entire fucking film.
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people seem to like those trailers.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't watched them yet, but it seemed to be that people were pretty surprised by it, or it didn't look terrible.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not like extremely invested in that world, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was fun. It's definitely not terrible, which I think is something that's sort of connected with video game movies, because there haven't really been really a lot of good ones.
Not good ones. No.
Most of them are pretty terrible, but this one's not. It's not bad. It's a lot of fun. So I feel like people that enjoy that world will get a lot out of it. Like, there's definitely a lot of fan service going on in there. And it was surprising. Like, I'm generally pretty good at these types of films. I'm generally pretty good at like understanding where the movie is going and picking bits and pieces that might come out that end up being true. And there's stuff in this film that I just didn't see coming at all.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was pretty well done. But yeah, I think people will get a kick out of it. So if you into that sort of thing, Pokemon, I'm sure people that are invested in that world will love it, because I've heard a lot of good things from people that are invested in it, and it seems like they've all enjoyed it. So yeah, it's not like spectacular or anything, but it's definitely
How many Pokemon are there
in the world or in the movie?
In the movie world,
I have no idea. There's heaps. They're everywhere.
150, like types. I'm talking 151.
I don't know.
But like, have a fucking punt, man.
Maybe.
Would you say it's like, what generation of Pokemon is it drawing on?
The original, the classic.
So just the first 150.
I think, because there weren't many in there, and I was like, I don't recognize what's going on here. It seemed like the original 150.
Is there a little crocodile thing that looks like a pussy? Like, you could really, like, if you're ever going to beat up a crocodile, this is the crocodile that you could beat the fuck out of?
No.
No? Okay. What about a frog thing that, like, you feel like could possibly steal everything you own?
I don't know. I don't know, because I'm not that invested in it.
But you like, but, what? You're not like, oh, there was a frog thing that could probably steal everything I own.
Look, there was a Charmander.
Right.
And a Squirtle. And a Pikachu. All right,
okay.
That's
3 things.
The 3 main ones were there.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Maybe
Bulbasaur.
Because I haven't seen the trailer on me spoiling things for people.
How is it a spoiler that the fucking 3 starting Pokemon would be in the fucking Pokemon movie?
I don't know, because maybe it's a surprise.
What about legendary Pokemon? Are there any legendary Pokemon?
I'm not talking about any more Pokemon in this film.
Fucking.
Because someone's going to send me a video clip about this stupid alligator Pokemon, and they'll be like, it's in the movie, you idiot. And yeah, I'll look dumb.
It's a crocodile. Anyone could beat up an alligator, Luke. You can't beat up a crocodile. Yeah, no.
So, anyway, There's your movie catch-up. Related to video games, 2 of them.
Perfect.
I guess Endgame's related to Fortnite, right? They did another spin-off thing.
That is true.
But let's keep that movie watching experience going. This one's even more tied to video games. God of War Raising Kratos.
Right. Raising Kratos?
Raising Kratos is a documentary sort of looking capturing in the 5-year development of God of War, last year's runner-up game of the year for the Cap.
True.
Yeah, it basically follow. Have you watched it yet?
No.
No.
Should I?
It's excellent. It's basically following the development of Cory Balrog sort of forming this team, and
is his name Cory Balrog? Because I don't think it is.
What is it?
Balrog, isn't it?
Oh, Balrog. Yeah. I was thinking as the Street Fighter dude.
Or the big fucking demon that Gandalf fights, right?
Right, I don't know.
No? What's that called? He fights a Balrog. What's the Street Fighter guy's name?
Isn't his name Balrog?
That seems weird. Why would they be named the same thing?
I'm changing his name.
To Balrog.
From Balrog to Balrog.
Who, Cory's or the Street Fighter guy?
Well, his name's already that, so we'll change Cory's.
Isn't there just too many people called Balrog at this point?
No, well, there's not enough. I feel like we should just change yours.
No, my name is pretty original. You know, it'd be weird to have a name that other people have. I think I wouldn't be able to handle it. It would be like existentially odd for me to wake up in the morning and find out someone else was called Joab. I don't know how you do it, because everyone's called Luke. There are fucking Lukes on every fucking corner. There's probably a Luke Pokemon that you won't.
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway,
so it's basically following the development of him starting this team, them building this brand new office and moving everybody into it, while working on, I guess, 2 games. One team was working on a unannounced game, while Cory's team was working on pre-production for God of War, and all of a sudden, this second game that they'd spent a year and a half, 2 years working on was cancelled, and they all got moved into the God of War development team. So Cory's team has gone from 20 people to 200 people,
right?
And they don't have the sort of production line to do anything with it, because they're not ready to sort of drag all these people in there. Yeah, and that's kind of like where things start, and it's following this journey across the course of the next 5 years, them basically showing it to I don't want to talk about things that happen, but like there's moments in there where they're basically showing this game to people, and people are like, this is terrible, like we've made a mistake, we've given you all this money, and what have we done type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and then sort of turning that around and then showing it at the first time at E3 and surprising everybody, and then up until the game's release, and it's this great 2-hour journey of that's sort of wrapped up 5 years of development. They're talking to a lot of the cast and that's on the game. Christopher Judge, his basically reading this script and being like, I thought you guys said this was a video game, like type stuff, and this is crazy. This is like some of the best stuff I've ever read.
And he would know, because he was on Stargate, so he's read some good scripts before.
Yeah, I mean, but there's great moments with him where he talks about being able to relate to this character, and him not being there for his kids.
Jeez.
Because he was making Stargate for 10 years. And there's some emotional moments with him in there, and then there's emotional moments with Cory that's in there, and I guess some of that we've seen, like the stuff where he's gone through like the reviews and started reading reviews on live on stream and things like that. Like that stuff is in a documentary. But yeah, it's a really good, interesting, unique look into video games. We don't usually get this sort of depth into the production of video games, especially one that was like 5 years in the making. This documentary, basically. And there's obviously things in there that don't show the game in good light, but at the same time, I think it could go a little bit deeper into that. Like it does sort of paint the game as extremely positive, whereas obviously there was a lot of troubled production in there, and it would have been interesting if they went like a little bit deeper into that sort of stuff. But I'm guessing Sony doesn't really want to dive into that. Because there's moments in there where like the lead art director just leaves during production, and Corey's like, I think we're fucked. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. So there's really good moments throughout the entire thing. I think it's definitely worth watching, especially if you enjoyed God of War as much as I did.
How do I watch it?
You can go to YouTube. It's on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's probably under the Sony Santa Monica YouTube page or the PlayStation page. Like, they've been pimping it out pretty extensively for the last couple of days. Cool. It goes through, I think it's about 2 hours, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I basically sat down on Friday night and had pizza and a couple of drinks and just sat there and watched it. So
damn, I could used knowing about this on Friday, because I sat down on Friday night and watched a documentary about Robert Johnson, the grandfather of blues, instead, because I was like, what the fuck am I going to watch? I've got nothing to watch.
I think it was Friday. It was literally like 7 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock at night they released it.
Fuck damn it.
I was like, all right, yeah.
God damn it. That is literally when I was having dinner. Fuck. I was, straight up just sitting there like, I want to watch a documentary. Looked for sports documentaries, as I always do, because sports documentaries are generally the best. Couldn't find one that I hadn't seen already on Netflix. So I'm like, what's this one? It was actually a good documentary if you care to watch another documentary. But yeah, could have used knowing about this one. That one was called, I think it was like the Devil at the Crossroads or something like that. Basically, this dude essentially invented like what we now recognize as jazz, and he was also the genesis of the myth of the guitar player who goes to the crossroads and trades his soul for spectacular guitar playing skills.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. But I'll check it out. I'd love to be able to download it because I got a 6-hour long flight tomorrow. So if I can fucking work out something like that, that'll be even better.
I think you can. You can definitely download that stuff.
Yeah.
God of War Raising Kratos, it's called.
Here's a question. If God of War had flopped, do you reckon we'd be seeing this documentary?
No?
Not in a Hearts of Darkness type of way? You know, Hearts of Darkness is the documentary of like the making of, I think it was Apocalypse Now, right? And obviously Apocalypse Now didn't flop, but it had a super troubled production, and it could have flopped. Or the man who killed Don Quixote, there's Looking for La Mancha or whatever the documentary is on that one. Right. I think some of the most interesting documentaries come out of the flops or the failures, because you get to see how everything went wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It seems like they had a lot of failure points. There were a lot of points where everything could have gone wrong.
But does Sony want that out there? Like, I guess it depends on who's produced this,
I suppose,
documentary, right? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really looked into it. But I do know that Sony was pimping this out pretty hard. So, if they had a failed project, like, are we going to see a Days Gone documentary? I guess we'll wait and see.
Maybe not.
Days Gone didn't fail, but
it didn't light the world on fire. Yeah. So.
All right, cool. Nonetheless, it's interesting to see that sort of stuff because we don't usually get a good insight into it.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. All right, moving on. We got Sea of Thieves is here. Did we leave that on there for a reason? Or?
I think we just left it on there by accident.
Yeah, I don't think I've played much more. I've just been busy with Rage 2.
So. I was all geared up to play some Sea of Thieves at the end of last week.
And PUBG. I downloaded PUBG. Well, I didn't download it. I updated it. Because I was like, we're playing PUBG this weekend, Joab, and then you didn't play.
Because we got Rage 2, and I played that all weekend. But the other game I played all weekend was Mordhau, which I believe you bought, right? At the end of last week's episode, my conclusion was I don't think it's necessarily worth a purchase right now. It's a bit too expensive. I've played a fuck ton more of it. I still really enjoy it. I still don't know if it's worth the value proposition necessarily, just because of how expensive it is compared to other games of similar value.
Sure.
But it is quite unique in its value, in what it brings to the table. I think I was complaining last week about the propensity for cheese bags to grab a rapier and a shield. And they haven't done anything about that at this stage, but I have noticed that a lot of people tend to not go for that wombo combo. I think it reduces the game to something that isn't necessarily fun. So if you enjoy, I guess, winning cheap, like getting cheap wins in duels, then you can still put it together. But yeah, the other thing is if you've got a heavy enough weapon, you can actually bash through the fucking shield pretty fucking quick, to the point that then they're just standing there with a rapier getting their fucking shit slammed on against your giant fucking claymore or your spiky mace, and then yeah, you can finish them off. It's got a couple, like, yeah, I don't know if I talked about duels very much last week, but duels are still my favorite way to play, just because Frontlines feels too much like you can't actually sway you can't do enough to really change the course of a battle in Frontlines. You've played it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Frontlines, the 32 versus 32 battlefield style mode. Yeah, I just don't think as a solo player you can do enough to actually change the outcome of a fucking battle, right? Like, you can play the objective, but if you're on your own, you will find yourself on the objective quite often alone.
Sure.
And even if, like, I win a lot of 2v1s, I've won a couple of 3v1s, like, I'm, big ups to Jobo, but yeah, I'm actually quite good at this fucking game, and it's literally just a case of, like, positioning, right? I only use the one sword, the arming sword, and I know exactly what range it is. So I've gotten very good at taking a step back on their swing and then swing while stepping forward, which allows me, like, they don't have the time to get their sword up to block it, and then I can finish them off. So I can actually finish off a lot of people in just a couple of swings, and more often than not, they have to sacrifice some sort of armor to take the sorts of shit that they always love to take, which is invariably, like, they'll wind up in medium armor because they're trying to take the executioner's sword or the halberd or something like that. And so me in full heavy armor with just a single-handed sword, I can do a lot of damage that they can't really do much to mitigate, because by default, it doesn't mitigate medium armor doesn't mitigate damage as well as heavy armor, which sort of balances things out, right? They've got a pretty good balancing system for the equipment. Anyway, long story short, all it means is that I can generally take down a motherfucker in 2 or 3 hits, and then like, at the same time, if they're not properly circling around me, to, like, surround me and attack me from behind, then I can actually block multiple swings at the same time, especially if they're all swinging at the same time, and people tend to. Yeah, so, like, I can take on, I would say, up to 3 people, right? Like, max 3 people. I probably won't win. I win, like, 40% of the time against 3. I win 80% of the time against 2. I would say in Frontlines, 100% of the time against 1. But it doesn't matter, right? Because it's never one-on-one on the point. And by the time you've actually done anything to change the course of the battle, which is cap or decap, right? The enemy are fucking there, right? They're on top of you. It's not one-on-one. It's not 1-on-3. It's fucking 1 on, like, 8 or 9, right? Like, they might not be playing the objective, on a moment-to-moment basis, but they are absolutely able to play the objective when they get the fucking call to action to go fucking defend the point that they're failing to defend. Like, they will just wind up going back to stop the decap or cap in general, right? Like, and then you just get fucked on. So yeah, I still feel like Frontlines you can't really sway the bat. Like when you got three people, I was playing with Nate and Drew, and there was three of us, and we were actually really able to change the course of the battle as a three stack, right? And that's against like it was a full fucking server. It was 64 players, like 32 versus 32. There were ostensibly 32 other players on the other team that should have been able to do something about us. We were outnumbered 10-1, right? But it didn't fucking matter because at the end of the day, you can actually do a lot if you maximize your positioning. I'm just mostly thinking about there's the castle level. There's a castle level, and you got to take over some stables. And like by and large, Drew, Nate, and I were able to take those stables back whenever we lost them, just by managing our positioning and forcing the enemy into a couple of choke points that just made it very easy. Like, you know, the 300 Spartans, right? The 300 Spartans didn't win because the Spartans are so tenacious and so great and blah, 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 blah. They won because you could only fit 5 motherfuckers on that path, right? And so the 300 people, it didn't matter if you had an army of fucking thousands. If the 300 people could stand there with their fucking shields and spears constantly, then yeah, and you can break those lines, then you were never going to get through, right? Like, and obviously they inevitably did lose as well, but like, that's the thing, right? With 3 people, you can do a lot of work. With one person, it doesn't matter if you've got the choke point. You're still not going to be able to hold for long enough. You're not going to be able to change the fucking course of the battle. So that's why I like duels a lot. That's why I play a lot of duels, because I'm the captain of my fate. I win or lose. I think I win about 50% of my duels, because it's completely different, right? Like there's no urgency. There's an urgency in battles in Frontlines that I think forces players to make rash decisions, even if they shouldn't. Like, they should be able to win the one-on-one because technically I'm in their territory, I'm in their backline, so they should have all the time in the world, right? But they still rush themselves, and you can capitalize on their mistakes really quickly. In duels, there's no urgency. There's no reason for them to make time-based mistakes. So instead, I think I win half of them because people are just able. It's a full-blown mental game, right? Like, and sometimes I just get outplayed. I think it's fucking sick. I love getting outplayed because I learn so much every time I do. Like, I learn so much about how I could be playing better, how I could be doing things better, like feinting more or feinting at the right time, how to use the feints, the ranges on weapons that I otherwise never fucking see, all that kind of shit. It's fucking fantastic. And then you take that skill into the Battle Royale mode, because there's a Battle Royale mode. And you can play fucking swordy Battle Royale, swordy PUBG.
Yep.
It's solos only. And
do they drop you in on a horse or something? Like, how does it
sadly work? You don't drop in. You just spawn somewhere at random. So you don't get to choose where you're going to spawn, which is a little bit of a pain. But yeah, you find chests, you open chests, you loot the chests, and you go with whatever you fucking got. And it's good. Like, it's RNG heavy, right? It's lopsided towards players who find armor early, because if you don't find armor early, any mistake you make will take you down super low, right? You're basically naked. It's not like in Frontlines and in duels, you never find anyone who's naked. But a lot of weapons are one hits to a naked person. Right. And that makes it super difficult, right? Like, it makes it super difficult to come back from, because you also need to, like, even if you get the kill, I believe you get a heal, right? I think you heal half your health back if you get the kill, right? As a sort of evening thing.
Incentive, yeah. But
if it takes you down to like fucking 10 health left, you're only back up to 60. Like, you still need a fuck ton of health, and yeah, you still don't have armor. You are literally a one hit to everything except for, I think, like arrows to the leg. Yeah, like, you're in such a fucking tricky position from there on out. But if you find armor early, you are fucking golden. You can run around like I killed motherfuckers with like a pitchfork and a shovel, and I took those fights with full confidence because I could see they were naked, and I had fucking armor on, and I'm like, yeah, you'll probably get a couple of hits on me because this fucking weapon's dumb, but I only need to hit you twice, and it's done, right? Like, I just need 2 hits. And, yeah, that's about it, right? Like, that's the problem with BR is that it's, heavily lopsided to looting armor early. Endgame is all people with heavy armor. There's no reason to not go heavy armor. The speed reduction that you get from medium to heavy is not significant enough to make any fucking difference because it doesn't affect your swing speed or anything like that. It's just right. So yeah, you may as well just fucking rock the heaviest armor you can, most damage mitigation, and then just fucking wade into the last battle. I've only won 1. I've gotten second and third a fucking ton of times, and like you just.
But I thought you were good at one-on-one battles.
I am good at one-on-one battles. Second or third is inevitably because I get fucking third-partied, and that's why. Like the one I won, I chopped a dude. I should have gone third-partied. I could see it coming. I actually put it up on Twitter. You can watch a video of it. But I chopped this dude, and the other dude is coming in behind me, and I 1,000% was going to get third-party, but this dude decided he'd had enough of life and jumped off a cliff and died. And so I got to one-on-one the last guy, and I won that one-on-one.
Sure.
But yeah, most of the time I get third-partied, and most of the time, for whatever reason, they gang up on me. Or I just go into ham, present myself as an opportunity, whatever it is. That's basically Battle Royale in Mordhau. You're going to get third party. It's so critical to try to third party people because you don't want to wind up, unless you are literally the second last person alive, you don't want to wind up in a protracted fucking battle in this lengthy fucking thing because it just increases the chances that you are going to get third partied. But yeah, anyway, you've played it. What do you think?
I haven't played a lot. We basically did one session the other night.
Yeah.
I had like 2 bottles of wine. Yeah, man. I need to play more with it. Like, I was playing just with the default characters that you're given.
Yeah.
There's a lot of balancing that needs to be done in the game. We were coming up against a lot of people running Bloodlust, which is the like when you kill someone, it gives you back all your health.
Yep.
And at that stage, you couldn't figure out how to change that stuff. Like, wasn't sure how to change the perks and whatnot.
Yeah, the tutorial doesn't really explain that very well.
Because like I jump into fights and kill somebody, and then get third partied by some dude that had already been hit a bunch of times. But it turns out they're running this Bloodlust thing, and I didn't know what it was, but it just seemed like everybody was running it. So
yeah,
that seems probably broken if everybody's running it at the moment. So I'll probably think they'll change that at some stage. It just refills your health, right, the entire way? Is that what it does?
Yeah, it should do like the Battle Royale thing. It should just give you 50 health back.
50%,
I think.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stuff like, I was doing a lot of the Ranger guy with the archers. I like playing him.
Yeah.
Just doing a shitload of damage on people.
Yeah.
I tried like different characters. The I don't even remember his name, but he's got a trap. He's useless at the moment. That needs to be buffed.
No, he's pretty good. You're playing him wrong.
No, I think what needs to change is your team needs to know where the traps are, like an outline or something.
That would be good. Yeah.
That's like, it's like I played it like, I'm gonna stand over here in this corner and put the trap down at this door or whatever, and like bait people into it, but you can't put it in useful spots that are sort of like choke points because your team just runs over them all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was highlighted or something to be like, hey, this is a friendly trap, don't stand on it.
Yeah. Then
at the end of the day, it's that person's fault if they stand on it. Whereas if you just see a trap, you don't know whose it is. It could be yours, it could be someone else's. I think that needs to be like, he needs a buff to make that trap more useful, at least for your team.
It's not like, you're not really supposed to play as any of the default classes. They're all flawed in pretty heavy-duty ways. The good thing about the Scoundrel with the trap is that he's got the rapier, which makes him pretty fucking good as a newbie basher, because the stabbing is very difficult for him to do anything about. And the rapier is very quick on the stab, so you can kind of stab over and over quite quickly. And he's got the firebomb as well, which allows you to separate a little bit. Because I don't know if you know this, but if someone's got their cursor on you, if someone on the enemy team has their cursor on you, they run faster. They chase you down. But if you
couldn't figure that out the other night, but since then...
Yeah, the tutorial doesn't explain much. But yeah, putting a firebomb down in between the two of you is a good way to stop them from sprinting over and murdering you while you're just trying to get some separation or slow things down a bit. But yeah.
And there's like just weird things you can do with, like, I was playing the engineer and it would just run at people and make them chase me and then just like put a fucking wall in front of them instantly, just block them. And like you could then box them in, like you'd get them into a corner and pull your fucking wall out and just put a wall in front of them. And all of a sudden they're just stuck in a corner. It's like, so there's stuff like that needs to be, like, there's definitely a lot of tweaking that needs to happen.
I mean, they can bash through it. They can bash through the wall.
Yeah, but when I've got another dude next to me,
it's tricky. Yeah,
like poking them, which is what we were doing.
Let's go.
We'd run around as a team, and I'd just like plonk it down in front of them, or they'd come through like a doorway, and you just block the door, and they can't back up anymore. Just things like that.
I was playing the battle royale thing and trapped a dude in a house while the circle was coming in, and the circle is insta kill in this.
All right. Okay,
I think you've got like 2 seconds to get out of the circle, and then you're straight dead. So I trapped him in the house, and every time he'd run up to open the door, I'd like kick it open, and he'd get knocked back on his back, and then I'd close the door again, and then he'd run up, and I kicked him back into it. It was pretty fucking. It was disgusting. Shouldn't have gone down like that, but yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Have you seen any loot players?
Yeah, I don't know what that does. Like, I was playing as him and just running around playing the loot.
That's it. That's what it does.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's hilarious. Have you seen my tweet? It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
No.
I tweeted me playing the loot, because you can actually get a fucking program. It's sanctioned by the developers called Lootbot, and so you can play any MIDI file while like as a loot, like on the loot in the game, and everyone else hears it. Right. So I was rolling around chopping shit down. Sorry, just like playing 6 songs. Actually, I was playing Despacito. This is the fucking nerdiest fucking idea I had.
You got to get the Power Rangers theme song.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, like I need to play more. I obviously jumped back in. Oh, sorry. After we finished that night, I jumped into the main menu and started tinkering around with the creating your own characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just need to look at that a bit more. But since then, I haven't played it, haven't touched it. I think that was maybe Saturday night. I think we were doing that. Yeah, seems interesting. Just I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be sort of put into it.
Yeah.
To sort of tighten up some of those mechanics.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good, but yeah, like there could always be more stuff.
Yeah.
All
right. Rage 2.
Rage 2.
We got this last week. I think it was last week.
Yep.
On PC. Thanks to Bethesda. You were not a fan of the original Rage. I believe you are the lowest rated on Metacritic at the moment, or at least one of the lowest.
I'm definitely one of.
Maybe tied.
Yeah, definitely one of. Don't know if I'm still the lowest. Everyone loves to jump in later on and share their much later opinions, but I was definitely early on in the old Rage review. I was always very close to embargo on that shit. And yes, I'm still the lowest. 45. The threadbare story is filled with pointless motivations, poorly realized characters, and bad dialogue. So cross out wanting to know what happens at the end. The way the game challenges you by simply sending more of the same at you and hoping you run out of ammo. Oh, is buying. That makes a lot more sense. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have a story. It doesn't have gameplay. So why would you keep playing? That's pretty fucking harsh. It's fair.
Yeah.
Harsh but fair. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Rage 1. I was extremely pissed off with the terrible fucking ending. And, yeah. And the lame fucking story. And the bad gameplay. And everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in saying that, they've fixed a lot.
Yeah.
But they haven't. I mean, I think the game still has... Rage 2 still has a terrible story.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just do not... Like... To start off with, the story is not long. There's not really a lot there. It's an open world game. In the same sort of formula as the Just Cause games. It's made by the same studio, Avalanche, who have done recently this whole, like, hey, here's this open world. We'll give you some sort of branching off storylines, and each time you complete one of those, it'll progress that storyline, and then eventually you get to, like, the end of that particular hub, and then you've got to sort of do that 3 times, and that'll allow you to get to the big bad boss missions. So they really follow that same sort of formula in this one, where there's 3 storylines that you go down. Once you complete all of those, then that allows you to go to the the end game, and those particular missions are not really they're not long at all. I think I'd estimate that it's probably about a 6 to 8 hour main mission or main story, and then the stuff that sort of fills out the game is all the side content. Because you've finished it by now as well. Would you agree it's about 6 to 8 hours?
Oh, I reckon you can knock it out in about that long. Like I don't. I've apparently took 15 hours. But
I took about 14 and 15.
I was doing a lot of side shit just for the sake of hunting stuff down and experiencing the world and trying to get a good idea of stuff. But yeah, I was honestly shocked at how short the story missions were at the end of the day. 6 to 8 hours, and I'd say at least 20% of it would be travel. At least. Like, just travel to and from objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 to 8 hours, and you're not doing anything particularly engaging for a chunk of it. Which is why you want the side content, why you want to be able to, like, want to find yourself lost in all these other things that are going on in the world. And there aren't actually that many other things going on in the world.
Well, there's a lot of it. It's just repetitive.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the same.
There's a stack of things in this world, but it's like, bandit dens, and there's convoys going around, and meteors and arcs, and these erasers and whatnot. Like, there's really not a variety of different things you do, but there's just a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, I think the arcs are really cool, and I loved finding them. I loved hunting them down. I felt that they also felt quite rewarding to, like, you got something cool out of each one. So I think they did a really good job with the arcs.
So the arcs, you get, like, superpowers, basically.
Basically. Yeah, you unlock these superpowers as you go around them, and like everything from fucking force push to like a jumping slam. What was the one I used the most? The fucking gravity well. Like, yeah, you wind up like with some fucking sick, and also all the other weapons. Although I never used anything beyond the shotgun and the assault rifle at the end of the day. Yeah, it's just like they do a really good job of incentivizing you to hunt them down because of how cool all these extra things are. The fucking, like, some don't even feel necessarily that cool, but they're like life-saving. The defibrillator, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's like a second life.
It's just a second chance at life. When you go down, you can get straight back up again and stuff. It's good, right? It's done really well in that sense, and the hunting those arcs is done really well as well, because what you do is you hold down the control button and it shines these beacons in the sky, and you can like head towards those beacons, but you still need, like, that's actual active exploration. It's not like you look on the map and here's the arc. You have to, like, you can buy that information, but I can't imagine why the fuck you would. They're so obviously like present on the map at all times, and you can go anywhere you want at any time. Like it's not one of those games where you're restricted, where you can, like, can't go to this area until late game or whatever the fuck. There is an element of that in the level 10 stuff. It's got like a leveling, a difficulty level. Yeah. I ignored it at all times. Really, it never fucking mattered. Except maybe those pylon things. The level 10 pylon thing was a mad pain in the dick. It just took so many fucking bullets, and I ran out of fucking bullets, so I just had to, like, I ran out of assault rifle bullets. I used fucking 450 on the fucking thing, and it was only down to fucking 1/3 left. Like, it's like 33% health back, and I'm like, use, I don't have any rockets. I don't have any BFG ammo. I guess I'll use my that fucking plasma cannon thing, which was terrible. It was just a pain in the crotch. That's the only time, level actually mattered. But there's an arc that's a level 10, the highest level in the game. And it's a pretty hairy fight, I thought. It was a good, actually felt like a really good challenge. Sure. And, that kind of stuff. But, ultimately, what you're doing out in the world is ignorable, except for those arcs, in my opinion. Right? Like, you don't really need to do any of that shit. Except to have something to do.
Yeah, so you've got different types of skills that you can kind of get along your way. You're using these arcs and whatnot, but also you're sort of getting this weird currency and modifiers that you can use to purchase upgrades. So you'll go get this ability, but then you can also modify it, level it up.
Yeah,
and I think that's sort of where the incentive comes from to doing these extra side content, because when you complete it, that's when you level up, and eventually it's like, all right, you've got 3 more points you can put into, to level this thing up. So, your defib skill, you can be like, all right, well, now when I resurrect myself, rather than having 10 hit points, I'm going to have, 50% of it back. And so that's kind of where the incentive comes from.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like a lot of stuff in those skill trees, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'll go for this tier, and they don't really lock it to. They do a pretty good job of being like, all right, if you want to use this skill, you just got to spend a little bit of money, and you can get to that part. Like, you don't necessarily have to be like, buy points in all of this entire row and then go to the second tier.
Yeah,
and then they're pretty lenient on that sort of stuff in terms of what you want.
So you can sort of just pick and choose the really good shit with the fucking force push. There's a good one where you can charge up a second one straight away, which allows you to, and you can also modify how far away you can warp to someone to do it. So normally you'll just do it and it'll sort of but if you get close enough, you'll cover the last 5 meters, but you can augment it to do 15 meters, and suddenly you'll press control, which is your dash forward into range, force push up, fucking bang, force push up to the next dude, bang, and then fucking gravity well on the ground, and they all float up in the air, and then when they fall to the ground again, they're dead, and you feel like a fucking superhero. It's shit hot. It's awesome. It's some really good shit. They do a really good job with that kind of stuff. The what are they called? Projects. Some of those projects I feel they didn't do as good a job with, because some of them feel hyper essential, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the resources ones that I feel like pretty necessary. The give yourself an indicator on the screen, how close you are to certain stuff. I feel like that's definitely going to save you a lot of time.
I feel like you shouldn't have had to fucking buy them, because they work really hard to hide those fucking chests.
Yeah. And
having to spend 2 points or whatever the fuck it was just to be able to find those fucking things is a bit of a dick move. The other
and
one
also,
is,
when you get that indicator, I've spent a lot of time still looking for some of these. I'm
right? Even with the indicator, you're still I got no fucking idea. Right? So there's no way you're finding it without the indicator. The other one is the you magnetize those fellrite minerals that enemies drop when they die. You can magnetize those from further away. That feels like it should be on by default because it really changes the way you play. It really changes the way the combat plays. It changes it from something that you sort of play quite passively, where you pick and choose your moments, to the typical what we now associate with id Software as the id Software brand of shooter, which is that fucking run and gun style, that fucking push in, rip and tear type thing, and being able to hoover up any nearby fellrite without having to fucking run over it is such a critical element in that, because it allows you to heal on the go, and like actually regain a lot of health, which means you don't have to worry so much about getting low on health. And it doesn't, like, people shooting you doesn't really matter. And I think it's an important aspect to the game because you don't have armor in the traditional, you don't have shields that are depleted and then you lose health. You literally just have your health. So that's you've only got that one bar. And so going up against tough enemies and getting shredded is actually quite scary. If you're not able to regain that health some way, and yeah, so I feel like that one they should have included by default. There's it feels like they did a bunch of stuff just to try to slow you down. There's a lot in Rage 2 that feels like it's just there to try to slow you down, lest you finish the game way too quick, right? That, like, the way it handles that sort of leveling up it feels like it's stalling tactics. Like there's just a ton of stalling tactics. The fucking mission design, man. Like the first mission you do for Kvasir sends you to literally the diagonal opposite side of the fucking map. It sends you 7,500 meters away on the diagonal opposite side of the fucking map. It is such a horseshit fucking move from the game, because you can fast travel. You can only fast travel about halfway at best, and you still have to drive the rest of the way. Every single time they call you in, it is something that they could have just fucking sent you. Like, it could have been a fucking voicemail. It could have been just a fucking
they could have phoned you up on the phone.
There's literally, I put a fucking clip up of it, and there's literally one where she calls you in over the phone, an audio only fucking like medium, to play a fucking tape that leads to some coordinates, right? You could have played the tape on the fucking phone, lady, and when you get there, she's like, make it quick. Like, bitch, you called me every time. What the fuck is this shit? I just stood in that fucking elevator for 45 seconds. Don't you talk to me like this. I am here helping you. And then the worst thing, the reason this one got me so much is because I was fucking 500 meters. I was actually exploring the fucking wilds when she asked me to come in for this shit, right? And I was actually about 500 meters away from where she asked me to. So I fucking fast traveled back to her, only to then have to fucking travel back to where I was. If she just fucking called and be like, yeah, you gotta go to Twin Falls, I'll be like, oh fuck, I'm already here, that's convenient, let's go. None of that shit. She's like, fucking, gonna need you to come in. We need to have a face-to-face. Really need you to sit down. You're like, fuck, I'm fired. Oh shit. Nobody ever calls you in face-to-face unless you're fucking fired, right? And you get there and she's like, yeah, maybe you should go to Twin Falls. Oh, no, first of all, she's like, well, it's about time. I'm busy. Let's go. What did you call this meeting for? And you're like, I didn't call this meeting. Am I fucking fired or what, lady? And she's like, you should go to Twin Falls. You're like, oh, you goddamn bitch. Ugh. Anyway, and then you go on back to Twin Falls. Good times. Fucking do the mission. I don't mind the part where you have to take the MacGuffin, like you go to the place, you grab the MacGuffin, and then return. I don't mind returning, right? Like, fetch quests are pretty, like, it's a time-honored tradition. But, yeah, the part where you piss me about, you fuck me about and drag me all the way fucking over, ugh, that's some shit. That is some shit. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't like the driving. I think during the preview, it's definitely been improved since we've seen it. I felt pretty floaty the last time we played it, like bouncing off a lot of walls and like trying to just go over hills and whatnot. Your car just felt like pretty weightlessness, and you sort of bounce off areas.
Yep.
That seems to have changed quite a bit, but I still don't like the driving. They do some interesting things with like the battles, the convoy battles, where there's these giant convoys that drive around, and they've got like other vehicles protecting it, and you kind of got to blow up the vehicles and then shoot the weak points on the convoys. I mean, the first time you do that, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, but then
that was such a slog. I did two of them. I did two of them, and that was it. I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I did one of them in the tank you get.
Yeah.
And there must, I don't know what it was. There's some sort of fucking weird reverse catch-up logic. But I was 250 meters behind this fucking truck. Like, after I blew up all the shit attached to it, and suddenly it just, like, sort of scooted out away from me. And I managed to maintain a distance of 260 meters away from me for, I would say, like 5 minutes. And I was just like having to like shoot whenever I could, but it was never like, it's all winding roads. It was going through the fucking north part of the map, and it's all these fucking snaking bends. And so I was like having to fucking like, yeah, okay, I know I've already done this loop, so I know there's about a snake up ahead that I can fucking, I'll just punt through the trees and catch it when it comes around the fucking corner. That's how I wound up killing it, was like literally shooting blind through some trees and predicting where it was going to be, like shooting way ahead of where it was to hit it through some fucking trees and shit and exploding it. And I got 15 fucking vehicle parts. Absolutely pointless. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing that again. Never again. Never again. Yeah, that sucked. Hey, interesting point. There's some sort of multiplayer shit. Did you break this?
No, I couldn't figure it out. So we were playing the other night. Well, I was playing the other night, and Joab was playing at the same time, and then all of a sudden your name popped up on my game, like in the world, your tag. And then I messaged you and was like, "Hey, are you like, your name's popped up in my world? I don't understand what's going on." And then, like, a couple minutes later, it did it again. And I'm like, are you at this area? Like, are you around here somewhere? You're like, yeah, I'm like, standing right here.
Yeah.
And then we fucked around for about another hour and a half trying to figure out what was going on. And we couldn't get a replicate. I think eventually you saw your...
I saw your name,
yeah. My name popped up. And then later on, I was playing at night. And I knew you weren't online because it was quite late. It was after midnight. And... yeah, so your name pop up twice again, but you weren't online. So I was like, is it doing it like places where you died or something? Like, I don't really understand what was going on.
But you didn't die, right? You only died once and on purpose, right?
Yeah, I did it on purpose to see if we could figure out what was going on.
And I saw your name up at like Twin Falls.
Yeah.
Did you die there?
I don't think so.
Way out to the northwest? Like,
no, I only died like, I think 3 or 4 times while we were testing it.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so I jumped on today and I couldn't. I played for a little bit to try and see if I could find your name again, and I couldn't do it. I looked around and I couldn't find anyone talking about it, so I don't actually know. Have you found something?
Nope, nothing. I reckon you should fucking just have a fucking... Like, either the Gap is going to fucking reveal this for the entire world, right? Or you should just chuck something up on somewhere. I think it's some sort of fucking passive multiplayer, like Ghosts in Dark Souls. It's got to be something like that.
Yeah. So there's that statistics page that says friends avenged.
Yeah.
There's a counter, and mine's on 0. Yours is on 0.
Yeah.
The only difference that I have noticed is that I went into the friends list today, and there were people playing that had a green circle next to their name now.
Right.
It was red before. So I don't know what that mode is or what it's doing. We know there's some sort of social multiplayer thing going, and I thought it was going to be like maybe there's obviously the races and the like arena based fighting sections where you get points.
Mm.
I don't know, there's like some sort of friends leaderboard there, but this is different. This is like, why is people's names popping up in my world?
Yeah.
That part I don't get yet.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what it is. And yeah, I haven't seen anyone mention it.
Yeah, I looked around today. I couldn't find any mention of it.
After this podcast, if you're not going to say anything, I'm going to say something on Twitter.
I'll talk to people else that's going on.
All right. Excellent. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so saying that, I don't like the right driving.
Driving's awful.
It's not great.
You can get an Icarus.
You mentioned the Icarus, which is there's a bunch of different vehicles you can get in the game. The standard one is the one you can upgrade.
Yeah.
You know, you can put different health on it, different types of ammo, weapons on it. I just use the default guns because you have to go buy the ammo for all the other guns, and I just felt like, you know, as someone who wasn't doing the convoy missions anyway, felt like they were useless. But then you mentioned the Icarus, which is a flying like hovercraft vehicle, and it's extremely quick to get around the map with.
You can just line of sight shit. You just, like, as the crow flies, everything. It handles actually pretty good, surprisingly, considering every other vehicle in the game handles like shit. And you sort of fucking beeline straight for where the fuck you want to go. It's fucking sick. It's the best fucking thing you can unlock in the entire game, apart from the chest finder. And yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah. What else is there? I mean, the combat's amazing. It's the best part of the game. For them to come out with this being their first action shooter, it's pretty impressive. They've obviously had the help from id, but it feels amazing. Like, when you start getting these different abilities, these superhero abilities, and then chaining things together, it becomes extremely fast. You've got an overdrive ability where once you start collecting the what is it, felt night.
Feltrite, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's these blue canisters, and you start building up combos, and eventually you feel this meter. You go into overdrive, and that allows you to do more damage. But then you can start doing things like, all right, once you collect these Feltrite, whatever it is, I probably should have looked it up, but you can make that ability last longer, and so all of a sudden this ability that lasts 10-15 seconds is now lasting you a minute, because you're just running around destroying everybody. And it changes the way the guns work. Like, every single gun all of a sudden changes the minute you enter this mode. And outside of that mode, every gun's sort of got like an alternate fire mode, and then you can upgrade all the weapons to make them do different functionalities. So there's like a lot of different types of like customization in terms of how you want to approach the game and that sort of stuff. Like, there's cool weapons now. I feel like most of the weapons are pretty good. It's just that the two that I'm using that do the most amount of damage, I'm happy with these two. They seem to do pretty well. Like, I like the idea of that pistol that sets people on fire. That, like, I sometimes will just fucking pull out a pistol and be like, all right, I'll just run around and use this for a little while.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. But yeah, the shooting's the best part about the game. The rest of it is pretty ordinary. There's just not a lot of variety that's sort of going on in there. I don't care about the story or the missions. Very interesting. Like, the world is very sort of dead. There's not really much like, it's a wasteland, but at the same time, there's just not much out there. It's a lot of buildings and just places for you to run. Like, if this was an open world game where I'd run around and it was smaller, then maybe I'd be more interested in going to places and exploring. But otherwise, because the driving's just not that great, I fast travel as much as I can to sort of get around. So yeah. When the game ended, I was pretty surprised. I was shocked. Would be a word to put in there.
Yeah.
It ended, and I was like, "Wait, is it joking?"
Didn't I literally send those words to you?
Were you?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Let's see. Lol, is that ending for real? Not as bad as the other one, but far out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ending's not great.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, it's a it's not a fully priced game at the moment. It's going cheaper than most titles. I think it's cheaper than things like Days Gone at the moment.
Is it?
So, yeah, I think it's between a 59 and 60, around $60 mark.
It's $99.95 on Steam.
No, that's... Yeah, no, not on Steam.
That's a fucking full price game, man.
Yeah, no, Steam always prices theirs at EB prices.
But that doesn't make it any... Like, that's the recommended retail. I don't think
that's the recommended retail price. But if you go into like a fucking proper store and buy, you can get it from JB for less or Harvey Norman or whatnot.
That doesn't mean it's priced at less than a fucking full price game. It is priced at full price at a full price game.
That's the recommended EB price.
And it is sold at cheaper than that. That doesn't mean like that. It's a full price game, man.
But they price their stuff. Everything's $100 at EB.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't discount the fact that this is a full price game. Like that doesn't undo the like. That's the sale price.
Yeah,
it's a full price game.
No.
Yeah,
I think you can get it cheaper.
I'm not saying you can't get it cheaper. You can absolutely get it cheaper. I'm saying that they are selling it. They are pricing it at full price. They are pricing that's a triple A price.
That EB sells it.
That is a triple A game price. It's a triple A game price. It's not some cheapo version.
What is it on the Bethesda store?
I don't know. Who has that? Who fucking uses that?
I don't know. Do they have regional pricing on there?
Maybe. I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't have the fucking launcher. I'm not going to find out. Yeah.
Anyway, like it's a fun game. I would call it a fun game.
Yeah.
Like the shooting's really good. Just don't expect the... Like, I think they've done a good job of marketing it. You know where you kind of getting into when you get into Rage.
Yeah.
It's just a meathead shooter.
I'll tell you what. If I couldn't stomach the idea of $40 for Mordhau, there's no fucking way I can stomach the idea of $100 for this game or $60 for this game.
$60.
I couldn't. No, it's not a $60 game. It's not. It's not at all. There's so many problems with it. I had seven. I counted them. I tallied them up. 7 crashed desktops with no fucking error warning. I constantly had frame drops. Constantly. Like non-stop frame drops anytime I drove anywhere. The shooting, it was flawless, right? Like every single time I was shooting anything, perfect.
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as I got in behind the fucking wheel, frame drops were all over the fucking place. It was like the driving model was taking up all of my fucking CPU or something.
You couldn't stream stuff in quick enough, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. But like it was fucked. There's shit tons of pop in. I never noticed pop in, but I couldn't not notice it in this. Yeah, like it feels rushed. It feels super fucking rushed. And there are all these things happening in it that make it feel even more rushed. Make them feel even like more blatant. Like the clear stalling tactics that it has through, the things I already mentioned, the mission design that drags you from one end of the fucking map to the other for no reason, but to wear away at time. The repeated assets, the multiple fucking fuel stations that are all identical, the only difference being where the objectives are in the map, on that little location and stuff like that. There's so.
How long did it take you to find the one under the ground? Like,
oh my fucking god,
that one I thought it was broken.
Yeah, me too. No, there was one right where there was like a fucking. I think I would have found it a lot faster, but there was like a red light basically shining at the pink switch, and so you can tell that a switch is interactable because it's got a pink light on it. Right, but I couldn't see the fucking pink because there was a red light on it, so I was just like fucking running around looking for this fucking switch nonstop. But yeah, anyway.
Was that at the substation?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the same one. I was like, I don't know what. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Drove me fucking nuts.
Yeah, but the one in the gas station where you have to pull the valve.
Yeah.
And it's behind, like, it's in a little room, and the fucking valve is facing like the room, so you can't actually see it unless you go in there and turn around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much. It feels like they got halfway through making Mad Max 2, and they pivoted when Warner Brothers and George, what's his face, the the Mad Max guy, started having all their fucking hey. Started having their fucking tiff, and they're like, "Well, we're not going to make a fucking Mad Max game. What about Rage 2?" Like, that's what it feels like, and then it feels like Bethesda were like, "Yeah, you can do it, but it has to be out in May of 2019." And they're like, "Oh no, that's way too soon." And they're like, "No, we can do it. Fuck it, let's go. We'll just fucking plop, 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 done. Make them fucking travel from one side of the map to the other." Finito. Easy peasy. Yeah. Like, there's some shit going on here. I don't want to be the dude who hates Rage as a game, but there's something fucky. There's something well fucky about Rage 2. It's like something just fucking ringing the alarm bells about this game. It's throwing me off well and truly.
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty surprised about the review scores. Original Rage, I think, is an 80, an 81,
79.
79. I think it's a better game than Rage, but at the same time, I don't agree with that original score. So I thought it was going to do better in terms of score-wise. I was thinking, personally, I would have been around maybe a 7, 6.5, probably a 7.
Right. It's 6.5 for me. I'd say maybe less. I don't know. Like, probably less. I'd say less. Yeah, 100%. It's 5.5.
But it's not like it's been pretty mixed. It's getting
it's on 73 at the moment.
It's less, yeah, which is surprising for me because it seems like people are enjoying it. Just the scores aren't sort of reflecting what the last game had.
There's no score as low as mine though for Rage 1. I would score this higher than Rage 1, if only because it's definitely better. It's definitely better. It delivers on the promise of Rage 1 better than Rage 1 ever did. And the story's bad, but it's still better than Rage 1's. Like, it's better in every measurable way, in my opinion, than Rage 1. But, yeah, doesn't make...
One of the best missions in the game is a fucking pre-order bonus.
Oh, yeah, that's super fucked. And, like, the BFG appears to be for pre-order only or whatever the fuck. Like, that's garbage. That's not cool. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. There's just a lot. There's a lot to this that I think is kind of fucked. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I'll probably keep checking it out every once in a while. They're going to be doing some sort of...
They have a long tail on the release and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty committed, so...
Yeah, they've got... they're going to have, like, weekly in-game events and whatnot, and maybe that is tied to the multiplayer stuff that we haven't figured out how that works.
Could be. It could be. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rage 2, out now.
Out now. Don't buy.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright, let's do some news.
Let's do some news.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Okay, so we're going to do some news. Let's do it like that, hey?
Alright, we're going to do some news.
And now nobody will know that I ever went to take a piss.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint, talked about it last week. There's some leaks happening. Yep. Turns out that information was
correct.
Spot on.
100% correct. All of it.
Yep.
Even the parts you didn't believe me on.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. It is apparently a follow-up to Wildlands.
Yeah, a direct sequel.
But it doesn't look like a... seems very different.
It does, yes.
Yeah. So they released a CG trailer and revealed that it's sort of, I guess, loosely based off that DLC mission that appeared in Wildlands recently.
Yep.
The bad guy is the Punisher, who's gone rogue. He was a ghost, but now he's not anymore.
Yep.
He's a bad guy that controls drones.
An evil ghost.
Robots. Yeah.
The sword that needs to be busted.
Yep.
You know, when there's something strange.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood.
I got it.
Who would you call? Who might you call? Ghost Recon. Anyway.
All right, and then they released a gameplay trailer.
Yep.
Which took me a little while to find. I don't know why this took a while to find. A lot of people were talking about this game, but didn't post the gameplay trailer, like the gameplay thing. It took me fucking like maybe 10 websites before anyone actually had it listed. it's like they just forgot that there was a gameplay trailer, so that was really frustrating. But they did release a decent chunk of it, and I just don't know what to make of it. Like, it starts off and it's like, it's hard to tell what is a game and sort of what is a cutscene, and if that part is a game, it doesn't seem very engaging, I guess. Sort of like, it starts off with this character being chased down a hill and like getting shot at, and then slowly healing himself behind a tree, and then running away, and then like meeting up with his team that's somewhere else. Like, that stuff is kind of weird for me to get my head around, because it's supposed to be a 4-player co-op game.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on there exactly? Yeah, I just couldn't really figure that part out. And the sort of previews that I read didn't really go into much detail in terms of that. But eventually you get to, in this gameplay trailer stage where it opens up a bit more, and they're sort of infiltrating this complex and trying to rescue somebody or get a hold of somebody. And it's them getting into position and infiltrating this area.
Yeah. And
again, that was another part where I'm like, I don't understand what type of game they're going for. It feels completely different to Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's like a weird mix between
Splinter Cell.
Yeah, it's got these Splinter Cell / like Metal Gear vibes going for it. But I think the thing's confusing me is that this is a fucking Wildlands sequel.
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, I just don't like. It's a different type of game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it knows where it is. Like, is it a hardcore? Like, is this like a really hardcore Ghost Recon game?
Because
or is it arcadey?
The medical thing, right?
Yeah.
That feels super fucking hardcore. That's like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater type shit.
Yeah.
And then the shooting, it didn't look good to me. The shooting didn't look good at all. And I thought Wildlands had really good shooting, so that's weird.
Yeah.
But it also, it just seemed like when they said go, it just sort of seemed like, now it's a wave-based shooter. Like, that's pretty odd. It feels like the sort of game that would have, like, a very set amount of people on the scene, and you would eliminate them, and that would be it. Like, it would just be... it wouldn't be that many people, but each shot would be... You wouldn't want to ever waste a bullet, and... Yeah, you'd be like, fuck, if I get spotted, it's fucking... It's on, like...
Like, is it 2 or 3 shots and you're done?
Yeah, right? Like,
that's what it felt like, but it didn't.
No.
That's not the vibe I got from it. Because I've read, there's loot drops and stuff in the game, from what I've read. It doesn't... It seems like a really strange mix.
Yeah, that does seem really weird. I don't know how to take this. I put up a quick clip out of the gameplay trailer of the shooting, and I don't know if you watched that clip, but it looks fucking way off, eh? To me, it looks super off. Like, I don't know if there was some sort of lag.
I think it's because they're playing on controllers.
Yeah, so what? You think it was like aim assist?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know, man. None of those shots looked like they were hitting and people were just dropping. My thoughts were either some sort of weird lag, which why would you put that in your gameplay reveal? Or the bodies
damage
were...
feedback. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's fuck all damage feedback, but the bodies were destined to drop at that point. Like, it was scripted, right? Which is possible. Not ideal. But yeah, I don't know, none of those... A lot of the shots didn't seem to be hitting, from my perspective.
Or maybe they were hitting, and they just take a lot of damage.
Yeah, which is counter to...
everything we've seen.
Yeah, exactly, right? I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I don't know how... I feel like if they go for the, old school Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy type vibe, where everything is, 2 hits and you're in a lot of trouble...
Yep.
Then that would be really compelling for me.
Yep.
But... I don't know, just the style it's sort of going for at the moment. I'm just really confused about where it's sort of headed.
I don't think you can have one and not the other. I don't think you can have this tight, focused, really close in, gritty jungle thriller, and then have bullet sponge enemies and loot boxes. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because there's that bit where he like camos into the ground.
Yeah.
Where like he pushes himself in the mud to hide. And if you can take a lot of damage, then why are you doing that anyway?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, like that was cool, right? Like there's a lot of cool in that gameplay and reveal trailer, but like yeah, like there's heaps of cool shit and a lot of it confused me. A lot of it
Like the one dude goes down and then the teammate picks him up and then she runs off to like over to a safe area and then the other two are like covering while this guy's getting revived again. Like that stuff seems interesting.
sick.
But I don't know, man. I just felt flat on this trailer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess it was just a confusing message as to exactly what's going on.
It's not coherent, you know. I don't think it's on anyone except for Ubi for making an incoherent trailer. Yeah. Obviously we need to see more.
I just want to play it.
I want to
play it
yeah.
to understand like what's happening. Maybe it is like old school Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, but with co-op.
Like legit.
And then I'm in.
I would
like,
play the
sold.
fuck out of that, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't need every co-op game to be goofy as fuck, and I 100% think like when we talking Ghost Recon, the Predator mission, right? We goofed around in that a lot, but when we wanted to get it done, we took it serious as fuck, and it was super fucking fun, right? Like it was a sick fucking mission. It played really well, and yeah, like there's no belief on my end that yeah, like co-op needs to be lighthearted and fun or easy or simple or anything like that, or like yeah, like or cartoony or anything like that. Like I think you can do co-op and like hardcore, and I think it will be ultra compelling. And I'd love for this to be that.
Yeah.
But I just can't tell if it will be. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why it's not Wildlands 2. Because then people would be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going in expecting Wildlands 2, and it's not. It's different. And I'm okay with that. If they're calling this Point Break, or whatever their weird spin-off name is, Breakpoint, then if it's a completely different direction, different tone, then go for it. I watched Point Break the other night.
The original?
Yeah.
The only one?
The only one.
Yeah. Nice. Fuck yeah.
So I'm definitely excited or keen to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see more in next month.
Yeah. Coming weeks. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, what do you think about the bad guy?
I love him. I love John Bernthal. Yeah. I reckon he's rad. I was confused in the reveal trailer because I thought he was the one speaking the whole time. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, I'm a ghost too. I'd expect nothing less." I'm like, "Hang on, hold up. Who's speaking? Who was speaking the rest of the fucking time? Why would you get two dudes that sound identical? May as well get me and my twin brother to play fucking like the villain and the protagonist, like in a fucking cool."
Maybe they are. Maybe he shaves his beard off and it's him.
Oh shit, it's a clone. Oh my god, they're going full Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
They're like, Metal Gear Solid
the robot leader is a robot.
As a franchise is dead. It's time to take up the mantle. That would be the sickest fucking shit of all time. If they don't do that now, I'm going to be so fucking gutted. Like, they should do it. They should 100% do it. I don't care what else happens. Anyway, yeah. It's cool. I'm about it.
Find out more.
Yep.
All right, next up, EA condensing all announcements to a single day. I'm guessing this is related to E3.
It's at E3, yes.
EA Plays event.
EA Plays events will all take place on the one day, and the second day is now dedicated to streamers streaming from the event. So it had been planned that it was going to be announcements over the course of 2 days.
Yeah.
But
reveals, yeah.
But they've condensed it all down. Obviously, speculation is rampant as to what this means. Like, is this a case of they don't have enough stuff to show? Or did they just figure people would prefer to tune in on separate days? Or they wanted a more condensed, like, presentation style thing? Or what? You know, like, what it actually what it's going to mean wholesale it's hard to tell at this point, but it's very interesting. It's an interesting move because they've already worked so hard to divorce themselves from the E3 ecosystem while still remaining, in touch. That doing this sort of, I don't know, to me indicates that somewhat a lack of confidence, I guess. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Well, so when does this kick off? What day do you know?
Saturday, so Sunday for us.
Right.
And yeah.
So they're out of the way of the other conferences anyway, right? Bethesda's on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reasoning.
And Devolver as well.
Yeah, they want to get out of the way of those two.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I guess on Saturday they've got their own day to themselves. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
When's Microsoft? Monday.
Yep.
Usually.
Yeah. Sony is not appearing in this film.
Sony's not there. So, yeah, I mean, it gives them the entire day to work on their own schedule. It means that all the media are just covering that one day. They're not at that second day doing other stuff. Yeah. And it just feels weird spreading it over 2 days. To me,
okay, fair enough. That's very cool. I mean, you get to dominate the news cycle for a bit longer, but I guess maybe it doesn't matter that much on the weekend.
I mean, yeah, maybe you don't, because the next day, whatever Bethesda's big thing is, you're only in the spotlight for maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
Anyway,
that's that.
I guess we'll speculate more on that once things get a bit closer. It's not far out. It's like 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks?
Yeah, it would be, right? So a squiz. 1, 2
weeks.
Yeah, 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. All
right, and that's all we got there.
That's it. Short one. I'm going away. I won't be here next week. I am going to Western Australia.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to Ningaloo Reef. I'm going to swim with some whale sharks, and then I'm going to go to Perth and check out what's going on in Perth. I don't know what's going on in Perth. They've got some whiskey distilleries that I'm going to visit.
Right.
So
that's the only reason you go.
That's it. That's essentially it. Yeah. So I guess I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you'll have to do your own shit.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Sort something out.
Figure it out.
You better.
I got things happening.
You fucking better.
We got any questions, or is that it?
No questions. So when I get back, I expect questions.
We can wrap it up then. The Gap, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, all those wonderful places. If you've got some time, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find it. If you want to send us questions, you can email us thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Discord page, which is thegapodcast.com/Discord. That'll take you to our wonderful Discord channels where we've got people talking about random things.
Yep.
And I think sharing Sea of Thieves videos last time I checked.
Nice.
And whatnot. But we'll be in there playing games. People playing Mordhau the other night. People still playing Division. Still.
Inexplicably.
Sea of Thieves. We've been playing Sea of Thieves when we had times. But yeah, it's been good. So you check that out. If you want to find us on social media, you can go to facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. You can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got all the links, things we just talked about, including our YouTube page, which is thegapodcast.com/YouTube. If you want to watch this show on the video screens, you can do that. And that's all thanks to our Patreon members. You can help support this show by going to patreon.com/thegapodcast. Thank you to everyone that does it every month.
You are the best.
Really appreciated. This show should go up early for them this week because we got a bit of lead time, which is good.
Nice.
And I think that is it. Anything you want to talk about that you have written this week?
Head to redbull.com. Check out my competitive analysis of Mordhau. It's got a sick Die Hard reference in it that I hope someone appreciates. Right. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
What about you? What do you got?
For me, you can go to twitter.com/Luke Lawrie. Check out things I'm up to. Talking about basketball mostly. Fucking
Sixers. That was one of the worst fucking defensive rebounding performances I've ever seen in my entire life. It was fucking woeful. I've never been so fucking angry. Oh my god. Literally one. If they'd stopped one of those offensive rebounds, they would have fucking won that game. How many did they let through? Something like 16 or something. Like 16 offensive rebounds. That is fucking crazy. Staggering. Anyway, yeah.
All right. And that is it.
Yep.
Nothing else much to talk about. We'll see you in 2 weeks when you're back.
Me, yeah.
Yep. And then I'll drag someone else on next week.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.